Good afternoon, everyone. You can stay, by the way. It's going to be very interesting. So I'm going to try to shed another point of view over the subject that you're talking about in the last few days. First of all, I want to say very intriguing, very happy to see all of you here today. I think this is one of the most important subjects that we need to deal with as citizens of this globe, and especially the state of Israel. If you don't mind, I'm going to take you a bit, I'm going to start with a small question. When you talk about environment, and you ask, and you look at the Ministry of Environmental Protection, what comes to your mind? What are we in charge of? What are we dealing with? Waste, probably you always think about parks, different rivers, protecting the open spaces, a bit air pollution from transportation. Usually you don't really care or you don't really know a lot about what we're dealing with. And to be honest with you, 2 years ago, after a lot of years as an entrepreneur and CEO of high-tech companies, yes, the discussion before about data is where I grew up. This is very relevant to me. I decided to go and serve our people, the state of Israel, the people of the state of Israel, at the government, and found my way to the Ministry of Environmental Protection. To be honest, and you can quote me, didn't know a lot about environmental protection. I really didn't care. I was dealing in the fast lane, doing business, employment, new software, high-techs, a lot of the folks over here used to be my customers, good life. And I got into the Environmental Protection Ministry and I started learning. That's what you do. And I came across a very, very important figure. And that figure shaped my cadentia, and the figure shaped the Ministry of Environmental Protection. The figure is that 2,200 people at the state of Israel, according to the OECD, die an early death because of air pollution, because of cancer, blood diseases, lung diseases, and so on. In addition to that, thousands of people are sick, get to the hospital, and hundreds of thousands and close to 1 million suffer from low quality of life because of air pollution. This was mind-boggling. I thought that environment is not a necessity and is a benefit, is an add-on, and I found that it's the core of the life that we live here, is saving lives. And I asked my team to go ahead and produce to me a list descending from top down to the sources of early death and illnesses caused by hazard and pollutions that are related to the environment that we are in charge of. Because that list should be the roadmap of the Ministry of Environmental Protection. And I got that list. And the list changed the mission, the goal and objective, the way we do things in the Ministry of Environmental Protection. The mission is to reduce and to prevent pollutions and hazards as they related to the environment in order to improve the health of the citizens of the state of Israel and of the world. That is the key objective. That is how we prioritize. And guess who sits top of the list? Very comfortable. No one is challenging that position. Is air pollution from transportation. And guess what? If you look at how much dollars we invest in preventing air pollution from transportation, not even close to being top of the list. So that's mind-boggling. The biggest hazard, causing early death, causing illnesses, and we as a government are not paying the most attention to it, and I would say even the citizens. If you ask the people, most of you would say industry is in charge of the most pollution in Israel, and early deaths, et cetera, et cetera. Not that we don't need to take care of industry, but air pollution from transportation is 50% of the air pollution in the state of Israel. It is accountable for more than 50% of the early death, accountable for more than 50% of the illnesses, and we must take care of that. There's only a small percentage, less than 4%, of the transportation in the state of Israel that is clean, that is smart, that is not polluting. And those numbers need to rise. They need to get to 10, to 20, to 30%, 40, 50, and closer to 100 as we can. We simply cannot tolerate the situation where transportation is causing 50% of air pollution and more than that in influence over the health of the citizens of the state of Israel. So because of that, being a ministry that is active, that is always changing, we put in place a plan that is all about nationally reducing the air pollution from transportation. Hundreds of millions of shekels are deployed with one objective: to reduce the air pollution from transportation at the state of Israel. It's already in progress. And I'm happy to stand here a year after we ignited this plan and to say it's starting to work. We're starting to see the influence. It's small. It's not there yet. That's a small step to the people of Israel, a big step to the mankind. We are subsidizing hybrid cabs, and there's already 400 that are driving at the state of Israel because of our subsidy, and I hope that's going to grow. There's 20,000 in the state of Israel, so hopefully in the next year we're going to be close to 10%, and we need to increase that amount. We're closing the gap. We're making it economically viable for a cab driver to choose a hybrid car versus a polluting car. In addition to that, for the first time, we are subsidizing the gap in buying a bus. So the bus that the government is helping different companies at the state of Israel to buy and operate, we are subsidizing the gap in order to make it viable economically to run an electrical bus. And I'm happy to say that there's already tens of buses that are running at the state of Israel, just started half a year ago, that are electrical. With all of the different smart systems, data, charging systems, etc., that are required. This is a revolution that with the help of the Ministry of Transportation, we are going to see the majority of the buses at the state of Israel being electrical buses. It's just the beginning, very small amount, but we're growing and continuing to grow. I'm not going to go through all of the actions, but we're going to continue. We deployed catalytic filters on trucks, especially garbage trucks that are in condensed population and influence very much the health in order to prevent and reduce by more than 90% the air pollution from those trucks. For the first time, we are going to start in January a low emission zone in the city of Haifa and the nearby towns, and then that's going to go on to Jerusalem and hopefully to other cities in the very close time proximity. This is all about not allowing polluting vehicles, polluting transportation to run within the centers of the cities. The moment you do that, everybody wants to buy alternative transportation, clean transportation, smart transportation. This is a significant change. Next week, for the first time in the state of Israel, in Haifa, several hundred electrical vehicles are going to start running in Haifa at a shared model where you can pick up a car, you can drive to wherever you want, finish your journey, and go on, and then tomorrow find a different vehicle. So we're actually operating a shared model, sophisticated share model with all of the software that is required, charging poles, etc., subsidized by the state of Israel, and then operated by a private sector technology company and operation company. And surprise, before we even have one car on the road, there's more than 1,000 subscribers to the service. This is changing the face of the state of Israel. I'm telling you, like hot buns, in the next year, You're going to see more and more electrical vehicles driving in a shared model in the different cities and towns of the state of Israel. In addition to that, we are passing legislation this winter that is going to not allow to use a polluting diesel vehicle. And to make this possible for people to adhere to this regulation, we are subsidizing scrapping and installing of filters, catalytic filters on these old diesel vehicles. All of this program and a lot of more is all about reducing air pollution from transportation in the state of Israel by 30%. Remember the consequences. It's 100 plus people, thousands of people that are not going to get to the to the hospital and are not going to be ill every single year because of these actions that we as a government are now doing in order to transfer the state of Israel from old polluting vehicles to new, smart, clean, and healthy vehicle. This is significant. But unfortunately, this is just the beginning. This is the first pillar of what at the end is going to be a revolution, because what we're doing is we're responding. We're trying to reduce air pollution that is already happening, but we need to prevent at the source. In order to do that, we need to go out on a new way of thinking. Roads and paving roads are not a solution. They're a problem. Every shekel or dollar that we invest in paving a new road and not invest it in new, smart, healthy, clean infrastructure for public transportation, for shared transportation, is not a solution. It's causing a problem, it's causing a hazard, it's causing a risk. And from this stage, I'm calling all of our partners, Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Finance, to join in the efforts of shifting the mindset of planning the transportation in the state of Israel from road-based private cars, privately owned cars, to public transportation that is smart, that is clean, that is healthy. This is extremely important if we want in 10, 20, 30 years to be in the next generation. Adding to these two pillars, there's a third very important pillar, and that is technology. We made a decision in the last year in the Ministry of Environmental Protection that we are not only in the defense, we're also in the offense. And we took on ourselves the objective to transform Israel to a superpower in environmental technology. There is no reason that the Israeli smarts, the Israeli innovation, the Israeli ambition, the Israeli drive, the Israeli never say no, that builds companies in IT, in communication, in cyber. There is no reason that we're not going to take all of these qualities and going to lead the world in technology that makes this place a much healthier and clean place. And leading is transportation, is new, smart, clean transportation that is really going to provide all of the citizens of this state and the globe as a whole a much healthier place to live in. I am sure that Mobileye is just the beginning. It's just the start of what is going to come and going to happen and going to grow in the state of Israel. And I'm happy that our investments and our actions and our programs to shift and drive the Israeli talent towards clean transportation and healthy transportation is already bearing fruit, and I'm seeing those new startups, new technologies, new companies evolving. So to summarize, because I have only 10 minutes, at the end of the day, this is all not a dream, this is all happening. It's not a dream that Israel is now shifting from old polluting transportation to clean. That is already happening now, today. You saw the examples that I talked about a minute ago. It is not a dream, but we need to make it not a dream, that we shift from road-based transportation to smart, shared, clean, healthy transportation. This is not a dream also. And it's definitely not a dream that Israel is going to lead the world in bringing clean transportation, clean vehicles, clean ways of running transportation, and maybe a new way of transportation to the entire world and going to change the face of this earth. Folks, it's not a dream, it's possible, it's here, and it's now. Good luck to all of us and a lot of success. Thank you very much. Enjoy the day.